Hi, this is Hal Kempfer on Hal Kempfer TV, and I'm going to talk about three things about Israel, Iran, and the nuclear imperative. Number one, geography. Israel is a small country. It's about the size of New Jersey. It only has a few major metropolitan areas. Of course, Tel Aviv is the biggest metropolitan area. Jerusalem is a pretty big area, and of course, Haifa is another area, but there really aren't that many large cities, if you will, within Israel. And you can imagine if just one of those cities was hit by something like a Hiroshima type device, nuclear device, the cataclysmic effect that would have on Israel as a nation state. Number two, Iran. Iran has never closed the door on developing a nuclear weapon. They have been basically trying to deceive the IAEA. They've been trying to do all sorts of things. They opened up this quote secret third site for enriching uranium that they could use for using nuclear weapons. They're playing all the games with weapons of mass destruction that we saw countries in the past play, like Iraq, Syria, Libya, and certainly North Korea, which played those games forever and then eventually developed nuclear weapons to where today they have dozens of nuclear weapons and are basically forcing South Korea and Japan to decide what should they do. Should they pursue their own nuclear weapons programs? Very difficult strategic decision. They haven't done that, but it is something that they have to think about. Iran's been playing that game. They've been enriching uranium up to 60%. Easy to take 60%, turn to 90%. 90%, you have weapons grade uranium. And one expert just said that if Iran was to suddenly decide to build nuclear weapons, that they could potentially have 9 warheads, nuclear warheads, by the end of this month, the end of June. That's a huge concern. Number three, the war impact. Israel has taken a bit of a gamble. They have struck Iran. Obviously, they have recognized Iran's intent. They have recognized the threat that Iran has posed, and they're going after those nuclear facilities because, frankly, negotiations were going nowhere on trying to stop that. And I don't think they really thought that the nuclear negotiations would have really stopped Iran from trying to develop a nuclear weapon. They were going to do kind of what North Korea was doing. And at some point, Israel was going to be in a very impossible situation, as you can well imagine. So they've gone after the nuclear sites. Of course, the gamble is that Iran, with its back against the wall, will make a decision. Okay, let's go ahead and create a nuclear warhead. Let's put it on a ballistic missile and be ready to launch that thing towards Israel. And of course, we've already talked what would happen to Israel if that were to occur. So now Israel has no choice but to militarily make sure that Iran cannot acquire or develop a nuclear warhead. They have to destroy all of that nuclear infrastructure, that atomic infrastructure, to make sure that that is completely off the table, which is why Israel's saying that this campaign is going to take weeks, not days. There is a lot to be done. And if you look at the Fordo enrichment site, those deep underground bunkers, the only way to get in there is you put boots on the ground or you bring in some ordnance that Israel currently does not have or can't deliver with its air, which will then go to probably asking the U.S. to step in with a capability they don't have. Anyway, a lot going on there. Hey, thanks for listening to Hal Kempfer TV and three things on Israel, Iran, and the nuclear weapons imperative.